Well. Come on in here. It is Friday, January the 24th. Annette is here. I'm here. Brian's here. Let's do a show, shall we?
Let's do that.
And CHCH News has learned that Ontario will be going to the polls in February. Simone Gavros is on this story for us this morning.
A Canadian freighter with 17 people on board is stuck in the ice on Lake Erie.
And the nominations for the 97th Academy Awards have been announced. Let the movie watching commence. Okay, Friday, 24th. I had to turn the heat down in my car today, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, come to think of it, I did too, because I had it on full blast.
Totally. Well, you've needed that all week. Well, even yesterday a little bit.
I didn't even need the seat warmer today.
You crazy.
Oh, I had the big coat on.
Oh. The big coat helps, yes. I saw that in the closet this morning when I took off my... my goodness, this thing it's so puffy, it's popping out at me. Oh, gee. Yeah, but it's still cold. I mean, it's minus 12, wind chill minus 18.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just relatively.
Or are we just getting numb to it now?
Yeah.
We're just used to it.
That could be it. We're just plain numb. I'm not sure how comfortably numb we are, but we're okay. Well, I'll be singing that one throughout the day today. We are on the cold side this morning, and we have had some flurries. When I came in, the sky was fairly clear, but you get those pop-up flurries, and that's what's going to happen for the day today. We'll start off with some sunshine, then we'll get some flurries on and off throughout the day today. Today we're going to climb to minus 7, wind chill around minus 12. As I said, right now we are minus 12 with a wind chill of minus 18. It will tend to moderate as we get through the weekend. On that, I mean the temperature, and we'll talk about that coming up. Let's have a look at Friday traffic, which is usually fairly light. Here's a look at the 403 Waterdown Road. Nothing to see there. That's our exclusive camera. A couple of MTO traffic cameras. We'll have a check of what's happening at the Red Hill Creek, which is not a lot, as you can see. Toronto bound away from us. Toronto bound towards us here at the top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, and then all the way through Burloak, going from Burlington to Oakville. Everything's doing fine so far. So take it carefully, please. As usual, we'll look at weather and traffic coming up right now. The news.
Well, lots of rumors were swirling around, but it is official. CHCH News has learned Ontarians will be heading to the polls February the 27th for a snap election after months of growing speculation. Let's bring in Simone Gavros, joins us from downtown Burlington with the details on this. What do we say here, Simone?
Well, Tim, we've been hearing this since about October, those rumblings about a possible early election, but now it is happening. Premier Doug Ford is expected to announce this snap election next Wednesday, and it's going to be the first midwinter election since 1981. And Premier Ford's government is looking for a third straight win. Now, Ontario's next provincial election isn't slated to happen until next year in 2026 for another 16 months. It's scheduled for June 2026. But the premier has been strongly hinting at calling an early election for weeks. Ford says we need a strong mandate to deal with the Trump administration for the next 4 years. He says that Ontario could lose up to 500,000 jobs if Trump follows through with his 25% tariff threat. Now, opposition party leaders have suggested that Ford is being opportunistic and wants this election to happen before a federal vote. And we all know that's expected to happen sometime in the spring. Now, some opposition leaders, including Ontario Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie, have been vocal about this. She posted on X yesterday saying, quote, Doug Ford has chosen himself over our province, recklessness over responsibility. Now, if an election were to happen today, a new Leger poll shows that 46% of respondents would vote for Ford's party, 22% would vote for the Liberals, while 19% would vote for the NDP and 7% for the Green Party. Now, the poll also indicates that Doug Ford is the most recognized leader of the main political parties. But Ford is expected to have a news conference that's happening later this morning at 9 a.m. and he's likely going to be answering a number of questions about this upcoming announcement next week. For now, Annette, back over to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Simone. Well, if you own a house in Hamilton, your property taxes could be going up by an average of $288 this year. That's the latest number that city councillors heard at a budget presentation. The proposed budget would see a municipal tax increase of 5.7%. That budget would see $2.8 billion spent in gross capital and operating expenditures, funding 70 city services. A big chunk of this funding will be on infrastructure, with a 58% increase compared to last year. $192 million will go towards housing, including supports for those who are homeless, and 68% of that is covered by the city. The 5.7% increase is lower than expected, but still, some councillors say it's too high.
I will not support a 5.7% budget increase. We need to find every way possible to save them some money.
There are some of these chunks, if you will, buckets, if you will, that we really need to address, and there's no getting around that. What I had asked the staff to do is prepare a budget that reflects the needs of our city while still trying to keep in mind the concerns about affordability.
Now, over the next few weeks, councillors will hear from city departments and agencies on their budget proposals, with the Police Services Board coming in next week. Council will bring up any proposed changes to a budget meeting next month.
Police have issued an arrest warrant for a Hamilton man in connection with a shooting that happened last summer. The incident, it took place in the morning of August 25th, that is, outside the former Club 33, that's on Bowen Street. 3 people were injured, 2 of them with life-threatening injuries. 29-year-old Corey Parnell is facing multiple firearm-related charges. Hamilton police are urging Parnell to turn himself in. Officers are warning the public not to approach him. He is considered armed and dangerous.
A Toronto man who went missing was last seen in Oakville. 27-year-old Fernando Miucci is white. He's 6'2" and weighs about 190 pounds. He has wavy dark brown hair and brown eyes. Was last seen wearing a red Nike hoodie, black skinny jeans and white running shoes. Halton police say he was last seen January 18th in the Oakville area. Well, police are looking for a driver after a mattress was thrown from their truck on the QEW in St. Catharines. It happened January 8th, just before 6:30 at night near Jordan Road, heading towards Toronto. This video shows a car driving down the highway when the mattress flies towards the vehicle, causing it to swerve and slow down. Now, no one was hurt. Anyone with information is asked to call police. A Canadian freighter is stuck in the ice on Lake Erie. There are 17 people on board the Manitoulin, which got trapped near Buffalo on Wednesday. The freighter had dropped off a load of wheat and was heading back to Sarnia when quickly forming ice and snow surrounded it. Now, the Manitoulin has not been damaged, and the captain and crew are safe. Great Lakes freighters are usually able to navigate surface ice, but sometimes it just forms too fast and becomes too hard or too thick to break through. The Coast Guard cutter that arrived yesterday has started to break up that ice.
All right, let's get into Sportsline on this Friday. We start down under, where we're into the Final Four of the first tennis major of the year on the men's side, and it included the greatest player in history, 10-time winner of the Australian Open, but there will not be an 11th.
This is it. This is it. It's over.
Yeah, shockingly, Novak Djokovic, after dropping the first set to Germany's Alexander Zverev in a tiebreak that lasted an hour and 20 minutes, he had to retire from the match because of a leg injury that he suffered during his quarterfinal match. What a shame, and it had the crowd in Melbourne not too happy, with some of them even booing as the Joker left the court, much to the dismay of his opponent and the commentators. Zverev is through to his first Aussie Open final and will face the winner, the world number 1 Jannik Sinner, or American Ben Shelton.
Raptors know coming into this game they can score. The problem is, can they play enough defense?
Yeah. Here's Scotty out on the run. Scotty! Oh!
Scotty Barnes with the big throwdown for the Raptors, who are on the road in Atlanta, and anytime they play on the road, it means an automatic loss. because they've only won once in 20 games away from Scotiabank Arena. Well, you can make that too. Barnes led the way over the Hawks as he dropped 25 points. Great defensive play at the end of the game to seal it. Raptors, they take it 122-119. Hey, what do you say? Won 2 straight. They've won 4 or 5. Okay, let's check in on our guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's coming off a career best 54 points on Wednesday. We talked about that, which is the most points ever scored by a Canadian in an NBA game. He set another Canadian record last night as he was named as a starter to his 2nd straight NBA All-Star game. Even 2-time MVP Steve Nash did not do that. It is SGA's 3rd All-Star selection overall, but coming from a fabulous first half this season as he leads the league in scoring. And there was no rest for Shai and his Thunder. They were right back at it last night, hosting the Dallas Mavericks, and Mr. Consistent was his usual fantastic self. One off his season average of 32 points a game, finishing with 31. It would come in a loss for OKC. They're 8th of the season to the Mavs, 121-115 the final. But no stress, they still lead the West by 6.5 games. When it comes to MVP odds, Shai is the clear favorite, and Nikola Jokic the closest to him.
Fox hits.
Julian cheated way in.
Jokic going to throw it up from.
Oh my! Nikola Jokic! And he was showing why. He has won 3 of the last 4 MVPs, hitting a one-handed heave from his own end of the court at the end of the 3rd quarter. He is something special. His stat line from last night shows why. He had his 5th straight triple-double, 35 points, 22 rebounds, 17 assists as his Nuggets beat the Kings. And yeah, he's going to be starting at the All-Star game as well. Should be a great battle for the MVP in the second half of the season.
The nightmare at elevation.
Wow. Oh, man, I was standing over my monitor watching this and going, oh, yes, I have to do traffic. Okay, that was something. All right, coming up on 12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Yay, it's Friday, 24th of January. Let's get you into traffic here. We'll show you the 403 on Waterdown Road. Still the same as we checked it last time. Looks pretty good at the moment, so no problems in the Hamilton area. Let's go into St. Catharines. We'll check some of our MTO traffic cameras east of Lake. Nothing to see there. Red Hill Creek still looks good. North of 2, so that's while you're coming down off the Skyway Bridge going past North Shore Boulevard. No problems. Ford plant all the way through Cooksville Creek. You can see how light the volume is this morning. Yeah, it's Friday, you can tell on traffic. Temperature right now, we've just dropped a degree. We're now sitting at -13. The winds, thankfully, still fairly light. Southwest at 14 makes it feel like -20, and we do have some light flurry activity at the moment. So heading off to school today, we'll get some sun and clouds this morning, and then some flurries later on this afternoon. We'll climb to -7. Just that little bit of flurry activity. So here's the SatRad picture. That's satellite radar that gives us the cloud cover and the precipitation from the last 6 hours. It's a loop. You can see how the snow squalls continue to come off of Lake Huron into western New York as well from Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Weak trough of low pressure dissipating. We have another warm front, cold front scenario, so temperatures coming up a bit, thankfully, after what we've had this past week, and then a cold front, which really isn't going to drop our temperatures very much, but just continue to give us some lake effect snow. So -3 for Niagara today, but -5 to -7 degrees rest of the horseshoe. We are looking at some sun to start and then some flurries tonight. Temperature falls back to -13 and 14, so it stays fairly cold tonight. Wind chill values down around -20, and then tomorrow we're looking at some sunshine, but a fairly cloudy day for Niagara, -3 there. The sun will squeak out in other areas, but -4, 5, even -6 for Kitchener and Guelph. So let's get you out the door this morning, 24th of January. We do have cloudy skies. We do have some light flurry activity at the moment. The temperature right now sitting at -13. Check the long range coming up. Annette, Tim.
Oh, I can't say on the button. It was 2 seconds after 6:14.
Almost.
I think he did it on purpose, so I couldn't say it. Okay, coming up after the break, we'll check in with our friend Emily Vukovic, see what's going on in Chit Chat today. Also in business news, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau renewed his warning to Donald Trump about the impact of those 25% tariffs. Oh, hey, friend.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's all about the Oscars.
Guess, eh?
Yeah, Oscar nominations were announced yesterday. We're going to be breaking down some of the categories. Former co-stars Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, beloved for their iconic roles in the hit movie When Harry Met Sally, have sparked excitement among fans after teasing an upcoming reunion.
I think I might know what it's about, actually.
You've seen When Harry Met Sally, right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. And Kendrick Lamar adds a special guest for his Super Bowl halftime show.
That might be what I think it's for. We'll see you at that big red couch in a little bit, okay, Em?
Okay.
All right, coming up in business news, we always like to take a look at the business boards up first, and our Canadian dollar. That's a focal point. It is up 29 basis points, getting closer to that 70 cents U.S. Gold up over 17 bucks, 27.82.30 an ounce. Crude oil up, it's up 17 cents, 74.79 a barrel. Off to Europe. Hey, Europe, happy Friday. Markets are down in London, but up in Frankfurt and Paris.
In Asia today, markets were down in Tokyo with gains, big gains in Hong Kong and Shanghai. Positive performances from the industrial and utility sectors helped to lift the Toronto market to almost a 130-point gain. The Dow on Wall Street gained more than 400 points, and the Nasdaq was up by 44.
Okay, coming up on 6:18 on your Friday morning. So glad that you're here. Let's get into some business news, and let's talk Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, because he says prices for Americans will go up if President Donald Trump follows through with his vow to apply sweeping tariffs on Canadian products.
If he does move forward on tariffs on Canada, as he has said, whether it be back on January 20th or on February 1st or February 15th as a Valentine's Day present, or on April 1st, or whenever he says he's going to do it, as he keeps repeating, two things will happen. One, Canada will have a strong, robust response, because we don't want this, but we will respond if necessary. And two, prices for American consumers on just about everything will go up.
Trump told reporters in the Oval Office that he still plans to tariff Canada and Mexico at 25% rates starting as soon as February the 1st. Meantime, Canada is looking at imposing those retaliatory tariffs.
The makers of that viral "Canada is not for sale" hat that Premier Doug Ford wore say that the last few weeks have been a crash course for them in manufacturing. The co-founders of Ottawa-based Jack Pine Dynamic Branding say they've realized the difficulty of producing a ball cap fully produced in Canada. They say several players in the apparel sector told them they don't manufacture hats fully in Canada because of the high cost and low demand. They've since found some hats completely made in the country, but are mostly relying on imported ball caps that get embroidered in Canada. Orders for about 50,000 hats flooded in once Premier Ford wore one at a January 15th meeting with Canada's premiers and the Prime Minister. They sell for $45 to $55. Toques with the same logo go for about $40.
eBay sellers, they have a hot new commodity: phones with TikTok installed. So TikTok was removed from app stores on Saturday ahead of a federal ban in the United States. While the app is still available to people who already have it downloaded, it does remain missing from app stores. Thousands of eBay sellers, they're taking advantage of that. Listing range from hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even though TikTok is available now, its future in the U.S. still a little bit murky. President Trump signed an executive order delaying the federal ban for 75 days. In that time, ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, will need to sell the app to a U.S.-based buyer.
Well, sailing with Mickey is going to cost a little bit more. For the first time in nearly 3 years, Disney Cruise Lines has raised its recommended daily tip rates. On the website, the base daily rate for tips is now $16 U.S. per guest. That's up $1.50 from before. Customers that are in suites and concierge rooms will be charged $27.25 a day for tips. The tips are spread to various crew members, and they can be paid in advance. Otherwise, they get added to your onboard credits automatically or automagically.
Is this cash, or how does this work?
It works out. It used to be cash. They'd give you little envelopes, and now it's like a slip that you get, and it's just tacked on to your bill.
Oh, and you can say what it is? You can, like...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can add a little bit more.
If you want to.
Yeah.
The service has been good.
Yeah.
Okay. Get a break. Still a little chilly on this Friday, but we'll look into the weekend with our friend Brian Wood.
All right, Friday, 6/24, the 24th of January. As you can see, a fair bit more snow through St. Catharines here than some of our other cameras, but no problems with traffic at 7th. Top of the Skyway Bridge still looks good. East of Burlow, going from Burlington to Oakville, all doing fine. Mississauga, Erin Mills Parkway, 403 at Dundas, pretty light volume. We are getting some light snow at the moment, so roads could be a little bit on the slick side. Be very careful. Could be deceiving on those roads. Let's check our temperatures right now. Temperature in Hamilton, well, we are the cold spot right now, -13. But then you factor in the winds. It feels like -20, so it's still a cold morning here. -9 Mississauga, -8 Grimsby and Toronto. So we'll talk about seasonal temperatures. -10 for the overnight low and -2 for the daytime high. We were nowhere near that yesterday. Those are our sun times and records for today. The record low, -25 back in 1963. So, hey, even where we are right now, we're still on the mild side to start the day. For school today, we should be -12 with some sun for the first bell and flurries possible for after school and a temperature of -7. So -7, that's the high with the wind chill -12 for the day. -13 tonight. Wind chill tonight will be down around -20, and then tomorrow -5. Temperature starts to moderate, but still the wind tomorrow will be strong. That's going to give us the wind chill of -18. Still some flurries. Flurries continue all the way through the 7-day forecast. -4 Sunday, -1 by Monday, and then the temperatures start to slip off with some sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday. It's forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay, thanks so much. Well, the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs, they face off Sunday in the AFC Championship game. I didn't know this, but there's a bar in Buffalo that roots for the Chiefs. It's welcoming fans from both teams.
Okay, this is a thing that you see across the NFL. So Casey's Black Rock Sports Bar and Arcade opened back in 2019. The owner is a Chiefs fan, and he hosts members of Chiefs Kingdom every NFL weekend. But the bar has been split after what he calls the rivalry of a generation that began to take hold the following year. That's when quarterbacks Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen met for the conference title. So now they cater to both fans, since the rival teams have competed a total of 10 times, including the playoffs, where they've faced off 3 times, with Kansas City winning them all. The bar owner calls it the wildest day in the city every year. And I should say, I looked it up too, because in most American cities where there's an NFL team, there will be a backers bar for a team.
Okay.
Like in Kansas City, there's a Bills backers bar that is up and running, and it's going to be packed this weekend because the game is in Kansas City with Bills fans, because specifically Bills Mafia, they take over cities when the team is playing somewhere.
What do they do on the tables?
Yes,
the jumping, right?
you gotta make sure those tables are nice and sturdy, because you don't want to be going through those. Okay, good weekend for that. Lots more on that to come. Lots more on your Friday right after this.